I know periods are a blessing. We are lucky to have them, but they are bloody annoying too. See what I did there? Side note, I will be trying these undies on to show you in the video today, and YouTube is not gonna love that. So please give this video a thumbs up or share it with a friend that you think it would be helpful for, because I'm definitely getting demonetized for this, but it is so important.
I was surfing the Crimson Wave. I had to haul ass to the ladies.
I can't help it if I've got a heavy flow and a wide set vagina.
It's not fair. Nothing happens to boys. Can you come out?
No. Get out of here. And don't come back for 5 to 7 days.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Ali, and today we are talking about periods and period undies. So recently I got this comment on one of my videos and it just made me so happy, because whether we're talking about nostalgic movies or TMI girl talk topics, I always want this channel to feel like a safe space for everyone and basically just one big slumber party. So I'm very happy that that is the vibe we are getting. I want you to feel completely at home no matter who you are, and I want this just to have the energy of best friends sharing secrets at a sleepover. This is a safe space where we can learn from each other, chat, and just gossip till the sun comes up, or until someone's mum has to come and pick them up early. This series on my channel is called Girl Talk, but it is honestly for anyone. I want everyone to feel welcome, and I know a lot of these videos that are about periods and things like that, people will often say like, if you're not a girl, scroll away, keep scrolling, close the video, but I actually would love men to watch this video as well, because why the hell do we have to be quiet about the things that we go through? 50% of the world experience periods. Periods are the reason we literally all exist. I just think it's something we can all talk and learn about. I really want to work towards breaking that stigma, making sure no one feels embarrassed to talk about it, and just making a safe space. A lot of us don't get to learn about these things at school. Sometimes it's way too late. Sometimes it's just not enough information. I remember when I was at school and first learned about periods, I was like, okay, so they're once a month, but like for how long? Like I didn't understand if you then bled for like an hour or a week. It's pretty confusing. So as part of firstly breaking down that period stigma, I thought I would share my period story, and in the comments I would love to hear from you guys if you feel comfortable. Share either your first period story or like a fun embarrassing moment, because we're at a sleepover, that's what you do, and I thought it could help someone that is maybe experiencing their first period or has just had like a really hard time with it, have a read and have a bit of a giggle all together. So in this video today I will mostly be talking about period underwear and how they work, what they are, what they do, the pros, the cons. I'll be answering the questions that you guys submitted on my Instagram, so stay tuned for that, and most importantly stay tuned for the little hacks and tips that everyone submitted and a few of my own. Those will be at the end and I'm very excited, so let's get into it. So before I talk about period underwear, let me give a quick 20-second recap of what a period is, in case you are young or new here or just don't really know quite yet. So a period works on a monthly cycle. Sounds like a washing machine. A period is basically a monthly cycle, kind of like the moon, and each week you're in a different stage of that cycle. The period week is when your uterus walls are shedding, and that is what the blood is. The average period I believe starts between like 10 and 15, but some people can get it at like 9 or even 8. If that's you, I'm so sorry. And the average period lasts between like 3 to 5 days. I think some people can get it for 2, some could get it for 7. Some people have lighter periods, some people have heavier periods. Again, it's all just kind of genetic and up to your body. Probably didn't do a very good job explaining that, but you get the gist. Okay, so my first period story isn't that exciting or embarrassing, because I was a late bloomer. I was 15 and I just woke up with it one day. So I did kind of know what it was. I was kind of like waiting for the day, hoping it would give me boobs. It didn't, but here we are. So my period is super cute and fun in that it likes to play hide and seek, like playing hard to get. So I'll have it for a couple of days, it'll go away for a day, and then when I least expect it, it'll come back, which is one of the reasons that period undies are so helpful. But yeah, as someone that travels a lot, my most embarrassing period story is just waking up in a pool of my own blood in a hotel room. One of my best friends got her first period when she was shopping with her dad, trying on white jeans. So as far as first times go, that's a pretty bad one. And it's really nice for me just to experience the kind of confidence that comes with getting older and feeling more comfortable and confident in your period and in your body, because I just remember being in high school and like the awkward, embarrassing attempt to like hide a pad in your pocket and like walk to the bathroom without anyone seeing it, or how mortified you would feel if your tampons fell out of your bag and like boys saw it. And now I have open discussions with all of my male friends about periods and about cramps, and I'm just like, yeah, it's normal. Like everyone should know this. But I know I didn't always feel like that. And so I'm hoping that with this video and with opening this conversation up with you guys, we can help normalize it, you know? I also find it hilarious the misinformation out there that a lot of like boyfriends and dads just don't understand. Like you'll ask a dad to buy some pads from the store and they're like, what does the L mean? Is that like left? Like they don't know that L means light because of course no one teaches them that stuff. Or the TikToks I've seen of boyfriends being like, does the pad like stick to your vagina? Like how does that work? How do you change it? I'll put some in here. They always make me laugh. How do you use a pad?
I guess you put it on the outside and like...
Of what?
Vagina. Like a suction cup.
Where do the wings go?
Up.
Up where?
Because it makes more sense that these would go like down and stick to your legs, right?
How do girls pee with a pad on?
They put a hole through the pad? How do they do it?
They just pull their pants down. And the pad goes with it.
Oh.
So let's start at the beginning. What are period undies? Period undies are essentially basic regular underwear, but with an extra layer of absorbency, I'm gonna call it, that soak up the blood. So in the same way that you wear a pad in your underwear and it soaks up the blood, the period undies do that for you and they are so much more absorbent. So I feel like when I'm wearing a pad, it almost feels like it's kind of just on the surface, like it sinks in a little bit, but you can still kind of tell that it's there and you feel like you're wearing a nappy a little bit. It's not great. Whereas with period undies, it actually soaks right in. So it goes beyond that first level. It's like drawn into this other layer that just keeps it away from your skin and you can't even tell that you're wearing them. Pads, they shift around, they leak. You have to change them all the time. Period undies, they just stay in place, especially if you get like a nice tight fitting pair. It is just such a game changer. When I first heard about them and tried them out, I thought it would feel like wearing a pad, but it actually feels more like wearing a tampon because you just can't tell that there's anything there, which is ultimately the goal, I think, with periods. So I'm going to show you a few of my favorite pairs and how they work. So I've been wearing period underwear for about over a year now, I think. Like I can't even emphasize how much it's changed the game. For me, I get really painful periods, so really, really bad cramps that have me in bed for like at least one day, sometimes two. For someone that just doesn't like have the bandwidth on that first day, especially to be getting up and changing a tampon or a pad all the time, I just like need to lie down and cry and like be in bed with a heat pack. And so to have period undies and know they're not gonna leak and know that I don't need to change them every like 4 hours, it is just so helpful. So I will show you my favorite pairs. These are all from Mody Body, which is my personal favorite brand and also yours. When I asked you guys on Instagram, like if you have any recommendations or tips, overwhelmingly you all said Mody Body is the best, and I agree. I've been wearing them for over a year and I actually reached out to them to work with me on this video because I knew I would have questions that like I wanted like the sciencey answers on. I wanted to explain it from my perspective, but also how it works. I'm just so thrilled to be working with them and you will see in a second why. The representation and diversity on Mody Body's website alone could make me cry. It's just so heartwarming and refreshing to see like every walk of life represented on here and know that there is products for everyone regardless of your age, your gender, or your needs. Also, another reason I love them so much, they donated over 100,000 pairs of undies last year to help people around the world who don't have access to menstrual products. Period poverty is a really huge issue and the fact that they are giving back and doing so much for that is just incredible. I love this brand so much. Okay, so before I show you my favorite pairs, I will just explain a bit about Mody Body. They began in 2013, so truly like pioneering the whole period underwear experience. Mody Body have products for women, but also like teens, babies, postpartum, and men. They have everyone covered and they also have 4 different kinds of products. With the 4 Ps, there is periods, pee, perspiration, and pregnancy. They have something for everyone in every situation. So whether you get a period or you are experiencing postpartum bleeding or incontinence, maybe you're like me and when you jump too hard on a trampoline, you pee a little bit. They have everything you could ever need. Also, the thing that I am just like the most amazed by that they do is their activewear. So we see a really big drop off in sports participation for girls. Kind of once you reach puberty age, a lot of girls stop playing sport and Mody Body wanted to help combat this, make it easier for girls to stay in sport, and they collaborated with Puma, I think it is, on this activewear range, which I am just so passionate about. I love the advocacy for girls in sport and girls in general and just making life easier, and so I love it, guys. Additionally, the undies that clasp on the side as part of their adaptive range just blew my mind. I am so impressed by their dedication to accessibility. It's amazing. All right, so it's time for me to show you my favorite pairs. I'll show you a few of my favorites and also what they look like on, because I got questions saying like, can you see them through your clothes? What do they look like? So let's get into it. If you take only one thing away from this video today, let it be that these are the best thing in the world, like this exact pair. It is like the boy short, boy leg pair. These are part of the Mody Body red range, which I think is technically meant to be for teens, but whatever, anyone can wear them. The reason I love these is because, like I said, your first day is often like your heaviest period, and so wearing something like this that you know is not going to leak is just so much easier. So if you think about regular underwear, your pad is just sitting there, but as you're shifting around in the night in bed, it moves, you can leak. I have leaked through countless amounts of underwear, pajamas, sheets, and then like mattress protectors, and it is just so annoying. So wearing something like this, it is literally leak proof. So this black part here, this is what is called the gusset. That runs all the way front to back. That is why I love this pair especially so much, because it's like literally got you covered top to bottom all the way. They're also super thick absorbency, so great for your first day of your period, or if you want to wear them for a longer period of time. No pun intended. It's high-waisted, it's not tight on your stomach, it's not tight on your legs, and this little extra boy short just makes me feel so much more secure in it not leaking. YouTube, if you're seeing this, these are just bathing suits. I've posted bikini videos before and they were fine, so no need to demonetize me. This is for helpful educational purposes. Thank you. Okay, so this is a regular pair of underwear. This is just so you can see for comparison. You know, there's probably a bit of seam showing if I put on some tight shorts. Let's try it out. So if I'm wearing those over the top, is there a VPL? I'm gonna say yes. This is the funky boy short overnight coverage. As you can see, nice and high-waisted. They're pretty much at my belly button. Looking good in the back. This material, like the part that's regular undies, is exactly as thin or as thick as any other pair you would have. The only thick part is black part, which is the absorbent stuff. So that's what these look like. Okay, so now again, with an incredibly thin pair of spandex shorts over, I think you'll be able to see these, but I don't think it's any worse than my other pair of undies. I think it's fine, and those are an overnight pair anyway. If you are like me, you have really bad cramps, or you have endometriosis or PCOS, or just an annoying period, having these is just one less thing to think about. You change them less often, you don't have to worry about mess, you don't have to worry about waste. It's just simpler. I think they're perfect for any young girls getting their first period that maybe don't want to have to deal with seeing blood or putting in tampons or anything like that just feels a bit too overwhelming or uncomfortable. I mean, don't get me wrong, period cups are amazing. I'm a period cup stan as well, but they do get stuck. Whereas period undies are just like kind of level one. They're very easy to navigate. Also, there is no risk of toxic shock syndrome because these are not like holding the blood inside your body. One of my campers has recently confessed to me that she sleeps in tampons. If you're watching this, which I know you are because I'm gonna send you this video, this is your sign to stop sleeping in tampons. It is not worth it. You could lose a limb, you could actually die. It's not worth it. Get some cute period undies. I have a discount code. Use Ali15 for 15% off. You have no excuse. So I will show you my second favorite pair of period undies. These are a lot more sleek, I would say, and I do also have these in a black, so like even more sleek. It is these high-waisted seamless beauties. So these are an Australian 10 because they're high-waisted, they're not cutting in on your stomach, they sit nice and cute on your waist. These are what I would wear if I was like needing to wear something really tight and not have the seams showing through, because seam-free is just the way to go. These ones come up the highest, I think because they're also so stretchy. They are past the belly button, so soft, super nice, thin, stretchy material. Definitely the comfiest thing that you could ever put on your body. I recommend. Now, the gusset inside of these doesn't go all the way up. It just goes in that part there. And that is, again, more than enough. I prefer to sleep in those bigger pairs where it's like got you covered all the way, but these are perfect for day wear and I do sleep in them as well. Similarly, I have these in purple. The only reason I prefer those like flowery leafy ones is because these aren't as high-waisted. I think these are like a mid-rise, and just my personal preference is as high as it can go. If I could get underwear all the way up to my boobs, I would. And finally, the crazy thing is that they actually actually also have period swimwear. So I personally have the bikini, but you can also get a one piece and you can get a whole different variety of them. They are reversible too. So this is just what the top looks like, regular top. And then in the bottoms here, this is what they look like. And as you can see, they have that little absorbent gusset in the bottom. It really feels like a miracle that things like this exist now, because you can literally go for a swim without a pad, without a tampon, without a cup, and not even have to think about it. So crazy. I have so many more pairs of these, and I would personally recommend trying to get enough that last your whole cycle. It's just so helpful having enough to get you through your period and not have to worry about rewashing them and drying them in time for the next day. I know that's annoying if you have a longer period, but that is just what works for me. Okay, so let's get into your questions. Firstly, how often should they be changed? So this will completely change person to person, just like it would for how often you change a tampon or a pad, and also day to day, as everyone just experiences a different flow. Some days you might be able to wear them for a full day and just change into a different pair after a shower. Other days you might feel like you want to change them after like 5 hours. I would personally recommend trialing them out at home. So maybe if you can do it on a weekend or at nighttime and just see how it works for you. They sell these things called wet bags, which I would recommend also buying. I definitely need to get one of these. I think they'll be really good for traveling. And it just means you can keep a pair like in your bag, in your locker at school, in your, in your workspace, and always have a spare pair on you just in case. I think if you're a parent watching this, it would be a great idea to get your kid a wet bag and a couple of pairs they could have just for an emergency standby, so they never have to feel like they don't know what to do if it does happen. Can you wash them with the rest of your laundry, or do you have to pre-wash them? Yes, so they can go in with the rest of your clothes. Just make sure you give them a rinse when you do take them off so that the blood doesn't dry. Personally, I literally just chuck them in the sink and like run it under the water. But a hot tip that a lot of you suggested to me is to actually take them in the shower with you and just like rinse them that way. I think that's also a great idea for anyone that doesn't like the sight of blood or is maybe new to periods, because you just don't really have to deal with it as much. But yep, they can go in with the rest of your clothes. Just chuck it on a cold rinse, hang them out to dry after, and you'll be good to go. The next question is, how long do they last? So I think typically they last around 3 or so years, but I've read of people having them for 5+ years. So it really kind of just depends on how well you take care of them and if you kind of grow out of them or not. The next question, and I'm so glad someone asked this, is there a health risk? So the answer is no, and in fact it is the opposite. This is just one of the healthiest and safest ways to take care of your period. I used to be a tampon girl, like strictly, not overnight, but in the daytime, because I just liked not having to even think about it. But the threat of toxic shock syndrome scares me to my core, whereas period undies are actually more hygienic to wear. Another great question, does it ever get so full that it might leak? Hypothetically, I would say yes. Like if you wore them for days on end or just like well past what your period needs, then yeah, it probably could. In my over a year of wearing period underwear, I've never experienced even a drop of a leak. And as someone that used to wear pads, that's amazing, because pads are just so risky. One tip to help you know when it's time to change them, next time you go to the toilet, would be to dab them either with your fingers or a piece of toilet paper, and if any blood comes off, then it's time just to change to a new pair. I'm also going to share some hot tips that Mody Body gave me to share with you guys. First tip is to dry them inside out for faster drying time, which I'm definitely going to try out. Also to wash them before your first wear. This activates the absorbent technology, and I feel like it's just good practice to wash anything before you wear it for the first time. Don't use fabric softener or a dryer to dry them, just let them dry naturally. Also, just a tip from me, I personally use a period tracking app called Clue. I just find it really helpful to track which days I'm bleeding, what my symptoms are. Symptoms? I don't know if we call them symptoms, but like my cravings or what my mood is like or my digestion. And that just helps the app to sort of understand your body and your cycle a bit better, and then it can help you predict it for the next month. All right, so now I'm gonna go to some more questions from my Instagram. Do they smell? I would say that when your blood is sitting in a plastic disposable like pads or tampons, it's going to generate more of a smell. Whereas with period undies, they're made from breathable fabrics that really can combat that. If you do notice they're getting smelly, it's just time to change to a different pair, and make sure they are 100% dry before you wear them the next time. Also, a pro tip, a lot of you guys have said that you add vinegar when you wash yours, and that is just a real game changer too. Why say period undies when you can save time by saying pundies? You know what, Kayla? You are absolutely right. I love how many of these submissions are just you guys saying that it has changed your life, because I agree. Even just with leak anxiety, that is just one less thing to have to deal with. Is it worth it for someone who always has a very heavy period? Yes, I would say if anyone is going to benefit most from these, it is you. It's the peace of mind more than anything else. You don't have to stress about leaking through pads, and that is priceless. Does it look or feel like you're wearing a nappy? No. So I would say with the overnight pair, or like the thickest absorbency, obviously it is a little bit thicker than most. It does not feel like a nappy, and it just feels secure. And then with these thinner pairs, literally I have regular underwear thicker than this, nice. It's just like a sort of spandex material. It doesn't feel like a nappy at all. It feels like a dream. Also, a lot of people asking like how long can you wear them for? As I was saying earlier, it is different depending on your flow and depending which pair you get. So I'm looking on Mody Body's website and I'm comparing all the different absorbency levels. So for example, the super light category, they can absorb 5 mils or 1 tampon or 1 teaspoon, which is for occasional discharge and drips, kind of maybe like the end of your period if you just want to be safe. And then if I scroll all the way down to the maxi 24 hours, that can hold 50 milliliters, which equals 10 tampons or 10 teaspoons, which is obviously a lot. Like I said, so cool. I haven't tried period undies yet. Do they actually wash without the stain? Yep, I have not once had a stain or anything stay on it. Also, the fact that the gusset part is black means that even when you are bleeding onto it, unlike a pad, you don't see the blood. So if anyone is sort of uncomfortable or just doesn't like blood, these are great because you're not going to see it. As soon as your period like hits this material, it is absorbed right in, rather than a pad where it can kind of stay on the surface and you can still see it even beneath the surface. So good way to go. Can we just talk about how awful reusable liners and pads are, like how they move about? Just the amount of leaks I've had in my life speaks for itself. So yes, I agree. Surely it just spills out when you move. I can totally envision what you're envisioning, that it's almost like holding it above the surface and it's like a container, like just holding it there, but it actually is drawing it into the material. So it's not just sitting there and it's gonna like spill over the sides. It literally like pulls it in like a pad, just bigger and more comfortable. I feel like this is the question that I had over a year ago when I first heard about them. Do they actually work? Don't they feel gross? Because again, I was just anticipating that I would be able to feel the blood and that it would feel like a nappy, because you're like, well, if I'm just bleeding into my underwear, they're just gonna get wet. But again, it's this crazy technology. It really does suck it into the fabric of these and you can't feel it. Like you don't feel the period against your skin. It literally sucks it away. I just had the weirdest thought about period underwear and the Cullen family. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but yeah, I promise you they do not feel gross. A lot of you guys saying, not a question, but thanks so much for doing this. They are amazing and more people need to know about them. I completely agree. I think more people need to talk about periods in general and more people need to know about period undies because they are life-changing. We've covered all of those pros. I think I would say the only con that exists about period underwear is that obviously they're a little bit more expensive to invest in the beginning, because I don't really remember how much a pack of pads is. It's literally been that long since I've worn some, but a single pair of period undies might be around $28 to $30, which obviously if you want to get enough for your whole cycle can add up. But when you're going to be wearing them for years and not having to buy any more pads and tampons every month, it is so worth it. Also, you then avoid the stress of like your period comes around and you're like, crap, I don't have any pads or any tampons at home. You always have them to go to. So as soon as your period hits, you're like, all right, I'll just put my period underwear on then. Well, I think that is everything that I can possibly say. If you guys have any questions about period undies or periods in general that I could help answer, just drop them down below in the comments. I would be happy to help. I hope you guys found this really helpful. This is something I've wanted to talk about for such a long time. I love these sort of girl talk chats that we have, and I hope that I can feel like an honorary big sister to you, because that's how I feel. But yeah, send this to a friend that you think it might help. I just really want to get this conversation out there, and I want us to reduce the stigma around periods because they are so normal. They suck, but period underwear really helps it suck a bit less. Again, I will leave my discount code for Mody Body down below. I'm obsessed with them. You will be too, I promise. They are just the most incredible brand ever. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.